Hello everyone, come back to another episode of Ms Nhi podcast. And today another special guest that I will bring to the show is Charlene. She's one of my good friend and also another life coach in Singapore that is been very successful in her coaching with a lot of clients. And let's welcome to our guest today. Hello Charlene.
Hi, Anne. Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you
Thank
again.
you for
After
take my invitation and to be a guest in the show. I know you've been busy in this period as well. Thanks for taking the time and to come to our show and share with people. So let's share a little bit about who you are. Of course, I know who you are and what you're doing, but let our audience know a little bit about who you are and what you've been doing right now.
right. Hi, everyone. My name is Charlene. I come from Singapore, and I've been doing life coaching work since like 2018, helping a lots of individuals who actually need some breakthrough in their life. Right. The breakthrough that I'm talking about is mainly for those who are overwhelmed and struggling, having to have family life and also the career life at the same time, and how do we balance both sides, and how do we have it all instead of like having to choose one side and then feeling guilty about the other side, right? So the balance point is actually how do we find back in us. So that's what I do. Coaching is like a tool, right? So I'm using this to help people. So I think I've come to realize that people need help, especially at this time, kind of time in the COVID time, the pandemic seasons. Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I do. Yeah, right now.
I think it's a lot of people didn't realize how important mental health is until COVID happened. So, how was this yourself in this middle of COVID? How was the life going on with your kid and your little family?
Yeah, it's a really great question. And because unfortunately I fell sick during the right after the circuit breaker time.
Mm,
I'm not so sure whether you noticed. I kind of like posted in the Facebook recent months as well. I actually
yeah.
went through a major surgical surgery itself, and it went
Oh,
into
sorry to hear about that.
complication.
But
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
glad you well right now.
I'm
So,
well.
how was that
Yes.
period for you?
Well, it was not good, to be honest, and lots of stress definitely during the circuit breaker time, like the lockdown period. A lot of us is at home,
Yeah.
the work has to be done at home together with kids' studies and together with the entire household job. In Singapore, our house is like tiny little apartment,
Yeah.
and you have to squeeze every single one inside, and you gotta
Inside the
be
house,
confined
yes.
within that square itself, right? You can't go out. There's
Mm,
no entertainment, and stress actually cooked up inside our room, our house, right? And
mm.
especially it put a toll on my health. Yeah, I have to went through that late 2020 itself. Yeah,
Oh,
and
then
I'm glad that
how do you manage to go through that? Because I have kids as well. I know it's not
yeah.
easy for you and your kids stuck in the same household together
Oh
for
my god,
every
seriously.
hour in the day. Yeah. So
Yeah,
how do you manage to go through that?
that was actually a very interesting period of my life. I will say that
Mm,
you learn how to be forgiving, and you learn how to manage, you learn how to adapt quick as possible. So the
yes.
adaptation actually come in pretty late for me, I would say. Though that I know what's going on, I know I need to adapt, but
Yeah.
how do I manage the stress portion actually comes right after my surgery, right? So the stress in me was built up, and it is actually add on to the complication of the health itself, right? So
Yes.
yeah, that's the portion that I realized that it is very important for people know how to manage the stress properly. It's not just by like last time when we're stressed, we just go have a drink, have a movie, and then you just go shopping. You can't do all these things, during the lockdown period.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it's a very interesting because life coach is very big topic that we have
Mm,
to go with our client in different area of their life. But stress is the one of the big topic right now in the middle of COVID. I
yeah.
think almost everybody that have even slightly stressed or like extremely stressed level. It depend on how different family situation. I think that would be interesting to know like how do you dealing with a client who come with you with a stress in the middle of COVID right now?
Yeah, that's a very good question. And before we go into how do we help the client, we gotta help ourselves first, right? So maybe
Yes.
I start off with how did I actually notice it was actually stress that caused into a lot of health issue for my case, right?
Yes.
And I used to be working in a high fast-paced environment, and then and a lot of things that I do is it requires a lot of attention, and it requires a lot of people management. When we come to dealing with people, when we connect with people, sometimes your opinion and my opinion may be different, right? So
Yes.
that causes tension,
Mm.
and sometimes it is too high tension. It can cause into a stress that keeps you not able to sleep, and then your health is actually maybe your high blood pressure is actually going up, and then
Yep.
chronic cases can lead to a heart attack, right? So
Wow.
those are the stresses that's actually coming from outside towards us, right? Actually, the stress is actually coming from us. How we respond. Stress actually, it is an impact that is happening to us that we lost the ability to respond properly, right?
Yeah.
So we're talking about the body response in a way that we see those stressful events, like how people treat us, like how am I dealing with other people, as a part of the stressful situation, right? So when we can't respond, our body act up, all the stress hormones start to build up, and actually it is actually for the goodness for us to protect us, because we'll be on high alert. But the problem is those I would say that the autonomous systems in our body, like breathing, digestive system, or blood circulations, kind of like get tense up a little bit. And that
Yeah.
is actually why you have a shallow breathe when you are in a stressful moment, and your stomach feels bloated because you can't digest food properly. And then you may have
Mm.
like cold hands and feet, right? So
Yeah.
those are the symptoms of the stress itself, when why people are having stress. And it's actually before our brain tell us that we can choose differently, and then we already start acting up, like
Yeah.
scolding people, like stress out, that kind of thing. So for me, I understand this quite in a way that right after my health problem. So I realized that there's a need for people to understand how to respond to all these things, and how to build up the inner capacity, which I want to share a
Mm.
bit more on that later on,
Yeah.
for you to grow bigger, so that the stresses in the environment doesn't seems like it's a big deal, right?
Mm.
Yeah. So
Uh,
it's actually education on myself first. Yeah.
it's interesting because you bring up a cause of getting stressed, because if people who don't even have awareness of they are actually inside stress right now, so that is the thing, like the sign that you bring up, and a little bit tip for people to realize, like you have to understand why you get sick in the first place, and then now like we're talking about how to solve the problem, because I think most of people don't even think they are in stress, because to be honest, back then when I'm being stressed and depression because of my marriage and I had just have a newborn, people say you too stressed and you too harsh to yourself and you too negative and I think you're depression. I didn't realize that because I just think every mom is like that. You give birth to a baby, you have to go a level of stress that every mom have, and I think that is a normal. But actually I should don't treat that as normal, because that's not normal. Everybody have a different help when
Yeah.
it go to give birth to a baby, but I don't
Yeah.
have certain help when I deliver a baby in the foreign country. So that is the thing that now I look back, I wish I know the knowledge that I know right now, like you, to aware of I'm actually in stress right now and I should looking for help, right? So thanks for
Mm.
bring that like
Yeah.
awareness a little bit, so people aware of their stress. So then how do you guide your client to go through after they find out the why they get stressed and the cause of stress, and how do you next step to support them on that journey?
I think the next step to support them on the journey is the easiest part, right? The hardest part is actually get them to be aware that the stress is actually building up in them. You brought out a point
Mm,
about the working moms, right? That you have a newborn, especially
yes,
moms have career, and also she wants a family at the same time. I used to be like that,
exactly.
right? So
Yes.
so so a lot of things is building up on us, and then we try to suck it up, just do it, and just do it, and just do it. And we are putting a toll on our body that is not really healthy, right? So we have to be
Yep.
able to say that stop, and this is what I need, and then I need help, right? And
Yep.
stop, this is what I need rest,
Yes.
right? And just put a pause and think a little bit. What are you sensing in the body when you are actually feeling stress? The body actually
Mm.
has the intelligence to tell us, hey, I need attention, right? So there are certain body signs for my case before I went into the health problem that I wasn't paying attention to, right? So all this accumulated up. So the awareness is actually the big part of the work that I do it with my client, because the how
Mm.
comes really, because once you
Yes.
are aware of things, and then it's easy to choose, really. Choice is not
Mm.
hard. Yeah.
Yes. So how about like maybe you share a little bit of what the case from your client and what experience you go through with the people deal with their stress in this period of COVID? Because I think the stress before COVID is totally different. It's something like very new, even new to you, new to me, new to your client as well. Because this kind of stress
Yeah.
is the first time ever in certain people life that they've been experienced.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I'll share with you one case study. Not gonna mention name. And this particular client, he wants to do a career transitions from being in certain department to a different department in different company, right? So because of the roles and also the responsibility looks a little bit different, so the career transition seems a bit hard to him, right? So then he keep complaining, I don't have time, my kids and my wife and all my household things is like taking a lot of times. And there's a lot of you and I are talking about the $2 statement is actually keep coming up from the client. And the way that he actually kind of like blame it and try to justify that he doesn't have time. And then I bring him back to the awareness, like how to create more time. So time, not enough time, is actually something all of us can relate to. I got not enough time
Yeah.
for this and that kind of things. So it's actually putting up a lot of stress. How to find time? So many things to do already. Like, oh, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, that kind of things. And finding time is actually building up an inner capacity, and we expand ourselves a little bit. Once we get
Yes.
expanded, and then we know how to work on efficiently and productively, and then we can actually find that time, and it's actually
Mm.
not hard. Yeah. So it come
Yeah.
back to the awareness itself. And that client, he actually be able to find time to just squeeze in a little bit to learn about the new role, and then put in some learnings and stuff like that. Those are the how to, right? If I were to not ask him to find time, I ask him to just go and find time, you sure have time one, he's not going to be able to
Yes.
accept that, right? So
Yeah.
I work on a lot of embodiment exercise with my client that expands their inner capacity, so that time is there. Time is always there. Yeah.
Yes. Uh, what you bring up is exactly what most of the time I've been dealing with as well. People come to me and also say the same, like I don't have time, you know. I come to find solution. I just come to find for a quick fix and come back to the point of you just say awareness come first, responsibility first, and then if you want it, you will make time for it. If you don't want it bad enough, no matter how much I say you can make it, you will never make it happen. Stress is
Yeah.
come from not only inside for my personal experience, I think it's also come from the outside as well. So how you deal with the outside uh, effective based on this situation of COVID? Because you know a lot of lack of the new is like kind of confusing to people, make more anxiety, make more confusion, and make people like I'm not sure what should I do, you know, and the stress is just increased based on the outside environment as well. And I get it,
Correct.
we can't control outside, but how do you share with people the tip for them to can manage that?
I think the very straightforward thing is like, besides taking care of yourself, right, and really set healthy boundaries. That is the
Mm,
first thing that came into my mind just now. Environment factors you can't change. Your relationship with people sometimes can't change. You can't choose uh, not to have certain relationship in your life, for example. And
yeah.
there are times that you feel really stressed, especially family members, caregivers, especially. Yes, now I remember one situation. Caregivers, especially, really stressed of like taking care of their family members if family member fell
Mm,
sick. Like for long-term care, the caregiver is actually having the caregiver fatigueness that is actually set in, and then they just become really agitated and angry all the
mm,
time, right? So this in this kind of situation, self-care and also set boundaries, what you can do and what you can't do, right, is actually very important. When I mention
yeah.
self-care, it's not that getting away from taking care of the loved ones, and you just go out to have fun. Not that kind. It's
We
more
can't
like
though.
how do you
We can't do that right now though. Like it's a tough one. Like last time
yeah
when we have a stress, we're still gonna escape, right? You know what? I will go few hours and I come back. Now even you stress, you have to see each other face. And the house, like you
correct.
say, it's so
Yeah,
tiny.
correct. So you gotta be able to find a good. Okay, if let's just say you are staying in an small apartment, you have to face the caregiver, and then you just have to find a space in the house that you feel
Mm,
connected to, or really like just step out of the house outside the door if you feel
mm,
comfortable of like just getting that fresh air, because the change of the environment does give us a new set of perceptions that actually can be a good releaser, right? Instead of like building up, and then ended up you kind of like do things that you maybe regret later, right?
yes.
So I think for caregiver perspective, if you need to take care of the family members who is not well at this period of time, it is very important that you also need to take care of yourself. Do you remember
Mm,
when I say that when we want to, our clients, we have to take care of ourselves? It is the same thing for
yes.
caregiver, mothers. If you want to take care of your kids, you got to take care of yourself first. And the how
Mm,
to take care of yourself is come from, for my case, how I practice with my client is a set of embodiment practice that can help you to calm down. Yeah.
mm. I think it's a you mentioned is a very right that in the middle of COVID, I also learned one thing that when I help other people that you have to take care of yourself, but what is taking care of yourself only you know. Because for me, care of myself is I eat the food that I enjoy, of course healthy food. I go to the park alone, listen to podcasts or learn some more people reading audio book, and enjoy the nature. That is called loving myself for me. But some other
Mm,
women maybe do go to the salon, do hair, do nail, go shopping, buy more dresses. Some people will be cooking, do other stuff. I love cooking as well. That's also one of my release stress. So everybody have to go through certain choice of
yes,
themselves, know what is their habit of release stress by loving themselves more. And
correct. Can I
I
give you
think a
one?
lot of,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. No,
you
yeah,
going on.
I just sorry to cut you here, because there's one thing that came to my mind. How to assess the stress relieving exercise, right, is working for you. When I talk about exercise,
Mm,
it's like some women go to salon, and then for your case, you go to park, listen to music.
mm,
When you come back and face that person, face the situation, notice how you feel like. And
mm,
if you can still feel like that kind of struggle in you, that means that exercise not really helpful. That practices of self-care, self-love is not really helpful because it's
yeah.
very temporary. Yeah.
It's the it's easier for us adult right now when we talk about this, and then we will share with another adult, and then like they practice like you say. But let's go a little bit farther. Like then how about kids? They too young to understand what it causes stress. So how do you deal with your kid when you know they go to anxiety or they at home too long with you as the mom?
I
I think
think
that's
for my
easier to pick up because we can't talk to other people children, but we can talk about our children about stress as well, because I believe they go through their own stress as well.
yes, yes. I would say that young children nowadays is stressed from school homework, right? I
Mm,
think for kids it's very straightforward. They just want their mom and dad to be with them, fully
mm,
present, fully understanding, fully listening, and really probably just a hug is as good as, yeah, as good as that. Just a hug.
yeah.
Yeah.
I learned so much in this COVID that I feel the relationship between me and Ava is more close and bonding more as a mom and daughter. We have more like a me time at home because most of the time, lockdown, you can't go out. And
Yeah.
I think that is would compare with other parents who I meet, they were like go stressed because they really at home with the kids so much. But with me, I'm kind of enjoy the moment with her. Even she do her own thing, I do my own stuff. Like even for example, like if she at home, I will still do my interview and she will do her stuff at the corner. We don't really, but it's for me to learn that the stress is it depend on the parent more than the children for me
Yeah,
personally, I feel like
I
if
agree
a mom
actually.
and a dad is happy at home, the kid were like, oh, okay, no problem, I can play, I can enjoy, I can laugh, no problem. So the stress from the kid, for my personal experience and for my personal view in this situation, it actually, like you say, it still come back with the mom and the dad. If you are
Yeah,
manage your stress, if you manage how to take care of yourself, if you know how to love yourself, your kid will automatically see it, and they will happy if you happy, because with them, you are hero. You are the hero of your children, and no matter what you did, they will look up to you, and like, like, oh, my mom is happy, my dad is happy. What do you wish to know before you starting to help and support people in this journey about the stress management, and help them to go
wow.
through that?
I think one big lessons out from the last 2 years for me is reconnecting with people. And I didn't
Mm,
know one major lesson for me is I did not know that when I have stress, I want to be away from people. And when I'm away
mm,
from people, and then I'm not receiving any help, and nobody
mm,
can tell, what is Charlene actually going through. So a lot of tension is actually built up in some of my relationship with people around me as well. So because of that, right? So yeah, if let's just say that someone is in a stressful situation, it is actually very natural for us to isolate, right? But the coming back itself will help us to reconnect better with people.
mm,
So that is one major thing that I learned over the last 2 years of working out on
mm.
myself on the stress management level. Yeah.
Thank you for the very, very golden nugget, like right there, for let people know, like, the stress is still can be managed if you have a right tools, that you say, tools, knowledge, and be awareness. Listen to that, you hear like, oh, it's actually not much to do, but even that, you have to do repeatedly every day. That's actually the challenge. So
Yeah.
what is the uh what have keep you going on in this journey of enjoying to deal with stress from client? Because you pick stress to deal with, I don't think is anybody easier to have a lot of courage to deal with that. So where the courage from for you to deal with client who come with you, that, oh, I have stress, I want you to help with me with stress? Because I think
I,
life coaching is a big topic that even me, I help different kind of area in life, but stress is one of the topic that, to be honest, I don't go deep with them, because I'm different style with you, and I know that every life coach is a different style.
yep.
I don't deal with the stress, I deal with the past more than the stress, because I believe it's where you come from, where you are today, come with certain trauma that we have to be killing that off first. So how do you manage to choose this, and why, what make you
Why
keep
this,
going on
right?
with this? Yes.
Yeah. That's a very good question because it connects back. When you ask a question, it connects back to why do I want to move on in this so-called specialties. That
Mm,
dealing with stress, it comes beyond the logical brain, right?
yes.
It's our body intelligence that telling us, hey, I need some attention. Pay attention to me. Why is it body? Because I
Mm,
have this aspiration to live up to 90 years old. I want to see my kids grow up. I want to see my grandchildren. Because of that, I want to keep my body healthy. And I
mm.
want, in my coaching with my clients, I always emphasize on the health. No health, no need to talk any much
Yes,
things. Whatever
definitely. Me
dreams you
too.
have, no health, that's it. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah, I totally agree, because your health is the everything come first. Like
correct.
tomorrow, you cannot have sore throat, or you cannot have you can't talk, or you cannot even eat, you cannot swallow any food, and you sit down in the beach that is so sunny, with a lot of like sexy body walk up and down around the beaches, and you may have like a bunch of money around you, but you feel uncomfortable. That's
Yeah,
not called happiness. That's
yeah,
torturing.
exactly. Yeah,
Right, that's a
torturing of seeing
torturing.
other people's healthy, but then you are in this state, but you have everything,
Yes,
right?
yes. So definitely,
Mm.
health always come first. I like the idea that you bring up, because we have to be healthy for. our children, to see our
Mm,
children life, because that's also one of the things that I'm bring up in my coaching as well. I say, if you don't even take care of your health seriously, just think about this. Don't say that I want to die for my children. I want to die for my partner. I want to die for my family. Let's say I want to live to see them happy. How about that? Like,
yes.
change the way you see things, change the way how you give a
Mm,
communication every day. It actually
yeah.
push the courage for people more to think of why I have to take care of my health. Maybe you don't need to take care for yourself, but let's take care for your loved one then. Um,
Yeah.
what are the best resources you have so far on the way of supporting your client and in your career?
Oh, wow. That I always I still love learning, right? I've been learning from different coaches, mentors, classes, and different ways of like keeping ourselves healthy, right? That's a main part of my life right now, and
Mm,
without that, I think you can't go much places. And the resources, I would say that is learn and adapt, and I teach it in my own style. Things that I'm
mm,
talking about today is actually not so new science. It has been still in the development stage, and then there are some, I would say that top researchers are talking about that. I'm actually following them closely in terms
mm,
of what are the developments in such a stress management area, and that inspires me. And when I learn something new, I'll try. Oh, it works, and then I'll let my clients try as well, right? So
mm.
I will let the loved ones around me try as well. So that is how I evolved. I would say that keep learning and keep applying. Don't just learn and don't apply. Learn and apply. Yeah,
Yes, it's only action will show you the result. Learn is
correct.
like you. We can read a lot of book. Doesn't mean that we know how to do what we read from the book in the
Mm,
reality.
yeah,
Maybe go a little bit more about not only the client, about you, like
yeah.
why you decide to become a life coach, and what motivate you to continue doing this every day, because this is not a easy journey. Let's be honest, it's not a pleasure for sure, because people come to you with a problem, with pain, with a situation that you have to deal with. What courage you have starting for you to want to join this and doing this?
I think back in about 4 5 years back, I saw that ripple effect in people. Right, when I say
Mm,
ripple effect is when I coach someone, people around in their life get benefited. So that's why I
mm,
call the ripple effect. And And right now, I'm actually focusing more on career moms because healing that woman heals her world.
yes,
She nurture her kids. She builds a good
yes,
relationship with her spouse. She has her own self, right? She finds back her own self rather than letting people tell her what she needs to do.
yeah.
So because of that, I keep doing what I'm doing right now. Yeah.
Yeah. You mentioned very good point as well, that is a mom. I think a lot of mom right now struggling because a lot of pressure already in shoulder for
Mm.
so long, that talk about be a mom, be a wife, and then you have to work and you have to contribute, and especially in Singapore. Uh, be a mom in Singapore is not an easy. Especially I'm
Yeah.
single mom. I have to tell you, it's the whole new world and a totally different story. Like you can't just be stay home and take care of your kid like your dream. It's impossible in Singapore. It can be done, but it's very rarely that somebody have privilege to live that life. Let's be real, right there.
Can
Is
I give you a different perspective on that end? Because
yes,
I don't
yes,
want to say that it's impossible because you know if we keep telling us it's impossible and then we don't find a space to grow, you see.
mm,
So when we tell us that I see a dream and I want to work towards that,
mm,
it's rather than finding out right now what do I have resources,
mm.
what do I have right now in order for that dream to work.
but
It is
but that's
not.
dream,
Yeah,
for example, right? Can I add on some more? That
yeah.
dream have to come with reality, but the reality is didn't support the dream. Like, you get me, like, yes, I agree with you, we're working toward the dream, but the truth that the dream is still not achievable yet, because
I
even I'm a investment mom, I'm a business woman. I don't need to work 9 to 5 like other mom. I still find it struggling.
challenging,
Like,
right?
I don't know how other mom managed to do that. And you know,
yeah,
I'm not a sugar coach person. I come here,
yeah.
oh, I'm a super mom. I can do this. I
No.
can. That's a lie to another mom. You just make
Yes,
another mom
yes,
more pressure, right? So I don't buy into that like
yeah.
concept of, oh, it's a dream
It's
that
like
we're
you
working toward, and
sell
I agree.
something,
Yes.
correct. You don't sell something that you can't work on, right? The dream,
Mm,
yes, it has to come back to the reality a little bit.
yes.
And I would like to add on that in order to make it more practical, you got to break
Mm,
down into pieces, right? Let's just
mm,
say someone would want to earn, I don't know, 1 billion. Okay, 1 billion is for normal people like us, like wow, so big, right? Why don't you just like target something achievable during short span
mm,
of maybe 1 year, and you
mm.
slowly roll up towards that. So I use money as one of the example because it's easy to grasp. So if let's just
Yeah.
say a mom who has a dream, um, I don't know, to really have a happy marriage, happy life, and happy career. From where
Mm,
she is right now, she gotta take action. I just gave
mm.
this in a couple of weeks ago in one of the webinar that the distance between your dreams and your goal is called action. But I add
Mm,
on
yes,
one
of
more thing.
course.
It's called I add on one more thing. The action comes with your inner demon as well,
Mm.
which actually
But
is the
it's
thing
the
that sabotage you.
I agree. The action is definitely have to have action.
Mm,
Definitely, I will always tell the same thing to my client. It's not about how much advice you give to you. I know how many knowledgeable I am to share with you the information you needed for you to change your life. It's still an action. The end of the day. But the part of like you say just now, I just want to because I think this is a very interesting because we have a different view. Also, that's the interesting when we have a different view because you make me learn something new as well about the perspective. uh like we have to break down the goal. I get that. Definitely, even daily goal we have to like monthly goal, weekly
mm,
goal, yearly
mm,
goal, because that's
mm,
how we grow. But
mm.
is that when we're talking about happiness with mom, about money, you have to be stay at home, take care of kids, like you say, all that is, do you think that indirect stress? Because I see other mom that they actually don't want to be at home and stay home mom and take care of the kid. You know,
Yeah,
they dream, like you say, they dream is want to go out and make $1 million.
yeah.
What wrong with want to make $1 million? I meet
Nothing wrong.
another
Yeah,
mom that happy to be a housewife and have a 3 kid,
yeah.
and she don't have a need to make 1 million. And what wrong with
Mm,
that as well, right?
nothing
So
wrong. Yeah.
so I learned through my client as well that actually we should don't even label that what is called successful mom is, and just
Yes.
let them be a mom, right?
Yeah.
And teach
Yeah.
them to be love themselves and happy to
Yes.
be who they are.
Yes.
And then the children were happy and don't care of the pressure of the public, what they tell you. But the
Yeah.
reality to achieve that for me so far, it actually quite tough for me. Personal experience, I see a lot of my clients struggling because most of the time it's not come from them. Even okay, you are a strong woman, we are already have awareness enough to know, no, I don't care society, you know, I live as who I am, I contribute what I can do. But a lot of mom is vulnerable, right? And they
Mm,
have more
yeah.
pressure for public. They don't have a knowledge, the tools like you share,
Right.
to start manage their life on the way they want without controlling by the society. So what is your advice for a mom who go through that right now in life, that they are confusing, they don't know what information to listen for, they don't know who to look up to, and what should they start?
I think you are right on the point that there's a lot of people doesn't have the right tools and the skills to be really aware about who they really want to be. Like you say,
Mm,
mom with 3 kids, stay home mom. What's wrong with that? Nothing wrong, right? If that's her dream, then the thing is like you want to be a happy mom, staying at home with your 3 kids. And then how
yes.
have you been with your kids recently? So that I would ask that questions, right? And that
Mm,
actually is part of the awareness back to ourselves,
mm,
right? Instead of listening to the noise outside, people talking, and then there's so much Zoom webinar nowadays to really attend.
mm,
And ask yourself, why do you want to go there? You want to
mm,
learn? You just want to, because your friends are there. You want to go because that speaker is famous. What reason? when we
Mm.
do something, there must be a reason behind. You can't be like, oh, because I am just like watching TV itself, right? So those are
Yeah.
quite a mindfulness exercise.
Mm.
Yeah.
It mean
So
even like before you want to go something and listen to something, you should to
yeah,
practice of asking yourself why you want to do certain thing. Am I right to say that?
yeah. Why do you want to do
Mm.
certain thing? What do you want to achieve? And what's after the whatever sessions that you're going through? If you're just going to download informations, what's the point?
Mm.
Yeah.
That's just another good point right there. I mean, for my audience, because
Yeah.
I think everybody will have a different style of coaching, and everybody looking for different support from different people's style. I don't. I have a different way of coaching. Of course, it's slightly
Mm.
different with you, but that is also a very good tip with people who are you are looking for like advice from other people. You know, ask yourself again why I want to go
Yeah.
with this class, why I want to join this section. Is that what I'm looking for? Is that worth my time? People right
Mm.
there, and maybe find more review about that, read up more about this person and so on. So what advice, I mean, advice is a bit too big, maybe what is sharing from you to another person that also want to pursue whatever you're doing right now in life? What is the advice you want to give to that young person?
For myself, can I get you to repeat the question a little bit?
It's like for someone who want to start a career like you.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
they
got
may
it.
want to know, like they want to hear from your sharing and your experience. What advice you will give to that young
I think,
person?
yeah, I think for whoever wants to come on to do the coaching work, the very first
Mm.
thing you at least minimally gotta do is work on yourself.
Mm.
Yeah. If you don't
That's a
work on
very
yourself,
good
your
point.
capacity doesn't expand. You can't
Mm.
you can't handle the client's emotions and challenges and stuff like that. When I say capacity increase, doesn't mean that you put in more knowledge over here. Now, mind, body, and heart has to be connected. So once
Mm.
they're connected, you can actually truly be present with your client. So in my way of coaching is the presence of the coach is actually very important so
Mm.
that the client
Yes.
actually feel the supported environment.
Yeah.
It is part of the inner capacity growing that
Mm.
I wish everyone can do that. Even though coaching may not be is your thing, right? Coaching is just a tool, right? And
Yes.
for any relationships that you're in, for any things that you do, you can't stop from relating to people. So that I think that
Yes.
would be something really awesome to be able to be relatable to people. Yeah,
Mm. I like the message you just give to people that it's not about knowledge, it's more about connection, about the
yeah,
understanding the situation and can you handle it. And for you to handle anything, you need to have a depth to hold on anything. Especially people come
yeah.
to vulnerable situation. Definitely, it is positive is not enough. Am I right? So
Yes,
we do this long enough
yeah,
to realize like positive is just a word. The real is come from action, about the awareness, a practice, a correction, and come back to the same journey back and forth until
yeah,
they figured out, oh, this is me. Now I understand myself. I can handle this without the coach, right? So if someone who want to enter the industry or want to be a coach, that is a very good advice right there. Thanks, Charlene. That is actually very good one. So let's go to another question. So if someone who first time meet you, what normally they assume about you that you surprised that everybody assume the same about Charlene?
um okay, I get this question a lot throughout my years of working on myself, right? I keep wanting to know how people see me, right? And
Mm.
previously I would say that people are seeing Charlene as cold, not friendly, and then she has this sense of like stern sternness in her that is like she's you just don't want to get close to her. But recently, one of my group conversations with
Mm.
some of the mastermind support group that I have, there's this comment just fly out of nowhere. Charlene, the way that you share things is you feel so loving and compassionate and kind. I'm like, whoa, that was really first time, and I felt that. Um, Really, I've been working towards the really sensing the gratitude from people, to be really kind from true from my heart. That I want to
Mm,
help, and I want to love,
yes.
and it has been a great journey for me over the last 2 years. So I would say that things are shifting, and you ask me how people see me. Why don't I get the audience to comment over here in the YouTube comment?
Yeah.
Would that be
It's
okay?
interesting because I don't see that from you actually, because one of the thing I invite you into my show because I think we know each other from classes a lot, we learn
Yes.
with each other and so on. I think you're one of the person that is most comfortable to connect with, the faster for connected, and we can
Oh,
talk, we can go through a conversation, and we have a certain thing like certain interests, like want to
yes.
help women and so on. And
Yeah.
that's the thing from you that I saw over the years, that is really important, that we have to sincerity come from the view of I want to help people. And
Yeah.
why do we want to help people? Why do we want to add value to people? This job is not about, of course, book money at the side, you work for make money, but the money is pointless if we didn't help them. Am I right to say that? Because the
It's
end, they
impact.
come
Yeah.
for, yeah,
Impact.
they come to looking for help. They come for
Yeah.
us, someone who can give me advice, give me feedback, give me support that I can change my life. And I like that you also bring up that we have to have come from the heart of want to
Mm,
help people first, right?
yeah.
Let's close off for today with one last question. If Charlene want to tell Charlene 5 years ago, what one thing you want to tell yourself?
Oh, I think I wouldn't want to tell myself anything. Just go through whatever you need to go through at
Oh,
that point
so
of
much
time.
courage.
And no, it's not harsh. It's like I want to show her that, um, how to be kind, how to love, and how to be compassionate.
Mm,
It's a way of being, you see. It's not that be loving, kindness, like you tell, it just can't sink in. When you
mm,
show, you let her experience it. Yeah, I wouldn't want to
mm.
tell her anything.
Thank you for that. Is a very nice message to the young Charlene.
Mhm.
By the way, if our audience want to reaching out with you, where do they can connect with you?
Maybe the link over there at the YouTube page here, then yeah, I can keep connecting with
Ah,
you there.
sure. Okay.
Yeah,
Then I
would
will
that be
give
okay?
all the information from Charlene under the description below. If you guys want
Mhm.
to connect with Charlene or want to ask more advice about stress, how you manage your stress, also support yourself through this period of COVID, yeah, you can get and contact her there. Thank you, Charlene, for your time today. Appreciate your time and also come to our show to share with our audience about stress management and how to deal with stress and how to make the stress uh, reduce in your life. Wish you, of course, healthy. We need that for our work. Continue
Yes.
positive and motivation every day to do this job. And thank you, our audience. We will see you again in the next episode.